Welcome to a tale that begins like any other morning on a quiet farm where the ordinary quickly turns extraordinary. Imagine stepping into the shoes of Farmer Dean, a man accustomed to the predictable rhythms of his fields and animals, until one day he encounters something that defies explanation. Something so peculiar, so unexpected, that it sets off a chain of events no one could have anticipated. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to stumble upon the unknown, to face questions without answers, then this is a story you won't want to miss. So settle in, because what happens next will take us far beyond the fences of Dean's farm and into a world where curiosity and mystery collide. Let's begin. Farmer Dean was used to seeing all sorts of animals on his farm, but nothing had prepared him for the odd creature he stumbled onto his property one morning. The animal was unlike anything he had ever seen, with peculiar features that baffled him. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. Thinking the animal was hurt, he contacted a local veterinarian for help. However, as the vet examined the unusual animal, his face turned pale, making Dean's heart race with both anxiety and anticipation. Dean's farm was located on the edge of a forest, so it wasn't unusual for wild animals to roam around looking for food. Sometimes he even purposefully left a bucket of sheep food outside so deer could eat from it during the night. It was all rather innocent until one morning Dean saw something stumble onto his property that looked like it could have come straight out of a nightmare. At first, Dean thought one of his goats had escaped, so he ran to the animal trying to catch it. But as he reached forward and looked at its face, he realized it wasn't one of his goats at all. Dean was visibly appalled by the animal and jumped backward in shock. The animal, unfazed by Dean's aversion, happily presumed walking around. Dean stood frozen in fear, unsure of what to do. He looked at the animal, inspecting every inch of it. It bumped its head against things and didn't seem to know where it was going. Dean walked around it to have a better look, looked at its face, and realized the animal's eyes were swollen to the point where the animal had trouble seeing. Thinking the animal could be hurt, Dean called an old veterinarian buddy of his to come over to his farm. He didn't say exactly why he wanted the vet to come, as he wanted to see the shock on his buddy's face. "Carl, come on, you just have to see this, you won't regret it," Dean used as his last bid to get the vet to come, and it worked. Dean quickly picked up the animal and placed it in an empty goat pen with food and water. The animal seemed to feel right at home as it began to wag its tail happily. It had a lot of characteristics of a goat, but at the same time looked nothing like a goat at all. It also looked a bit like a mutated rabbit, but Dean knew that was just too crazy to be real. He snapped a few pictures of the animal and posted them on a farmer forum online. The forum was mostly used by farmers in the neighborhood to warn each other about wolf attacks, but Dean hoped one of them would have seen this animal wandering around. The picture got a lot of attention, but none of the other farmers had ever seen the animal before. Suddenly, Dean got a call from his veterinarian buddy, Carl. "Where you at?" Dean asked first thing as he picked up the phone. Carl's voice was filled with worry as he asked Dean about the photo. "I was about to leave when I saw the photo online. Is that the animal you want me to see?" Dean was stunned. The farmers' forum was private, so how could Carl have seen the photo? "What animal are you talking about?" he asked Carl, unsure of how his picture turned up on Carl's phone. "Stop playing games, Dean. This is serious. I'm on my way right now," Carl said hastily. "Oh, and get that picture offline," he yelled before hanging up the phone. Dean had never heard his friend in such a frantic state before, so he knew this was something very important to him. He quickly ran inside and opened his laptop to delete the picture from the farmer's forum, but was shocked to see the amount of messages he had gotten as he opened the forum. His laptop began to ping non-stop, and he had even gotten emails from people he never heard about. Apparently, a farmer had taken a screenshot of Dean's photo and posted it on his Facebook. The photo had gone viral online, and because the farmer had added Dean's name above the picture, he was now being flooded with people who wanted to see the animal in real life. He even got a message from a news channel that wanted to do an article about him. This was going way too fast for him, so he quickly slammed his laptop shut. Dean paced back and forth in his living room, stealing glances at the window. Every passing car heightened his anticipation for Carl's arrival. It was eerily silent outside, but a strange tension hung in the air. Dean checked his watch, hoping to see Carl's familiar truck turn into the driveway sooner rather than later. This had to be dealt with, and fast. Suddenly, a van screeched to a halt in front of his house. Dean quickly headed out, thinking it was Carl. Sadly, his heart sank as he realized it wasn't. Instead, reporters with cameras and microphones gathered in front of his gate. Dean, caught off guard, struggled to hide his shock as the reporters bombarded him with questions about the animal. Dean's initial relief at the sight of the van quickly turned to stress as he faced the aggressive reporters. He struggled to keep his composure, answering questions with a firm no comment. His mind raced for ways to protect the animal's privacy, feeling the weight of responsibility to shield it from the overwhelming and unwanted attention now focused on his farm. In a determined effort to protect the mysterious animal, Dean stood his ground. He refused to let the reporters pass the gate, using his body as a barrier between them and the path that led to the barn where the animal was kept. His actions spoke louder than words, showcasing his resolve to safeguard the creature from the public's curious and sometimes critical eyes. The reporters' persistent questions and the lack of Carl's presence added layers of complexity to an already tense situation. Dean began to walk back to his house after securing the gate, deflecting their inquiries while secretly hoping for Carl's timely arrival. The unexpected media siege tested Dean's patience and resilience, pushing him to devise a plan to protect the animal and preserve its mystery a while longer. Just when Dean was about to step into his house, Carl's voice cut through the chaos, a beacon of calm and reason. Hearing his friend, Dean quickly moved to unlock the gate. His action was swift and decisive, marking a pivotal moment as he sought to regain control over the escalating situation. Some of the reporters tried to push through as the gate opened, but Carl and Dean stopped them just in time. With Carl's arrival, the dynamic shifted. Dean ushered him inside, their quick steps a silent rebuke to the media's intrusion. This moment underscored their united front, a clear signal that the care and well-being of the mysterious animal were their top priorities, far removed from the sensational interests of the reporters. As Carl pushed through the sea of reporters and crossed the threshold into Dean's home, a visible sigh of relief escaped both men. They quickly moved away from the door, their actions in unison as they sought refuge from the chaos outside. Closing the door behind them felt like sealing off a storm, a momentary pause in the whirlwind that had engulfed Dean's quiet life. Once inside, Dean and Carl leaned against the door, listening as the muffled sounds of the reporters' questions turned into a distant buzz. It was as if they had entered another world, one far removed from the frenzy just beyond the walls of Dean's home. This act of shutting the door marked a clear boundary between their sanctuary and the outside world's demands. In the quiet of the living room, Dean and Carl shared a moment of disbelief. Their laughter broke the tension. This laughter wasn't just an expression of humor, but a release of the pent-up stress and absurdity of the situation. It echoed off the walls, a reminder of the sanity and normalcy they were trying to preserve amidst the madness. Peeking through the curtains, Carl's expression turned serious as he eyed the reporters still camped outside. His concern was palpable, a silent acknowledgement of the delicate balance between their need for privacy and the public's growing curiosity. This moment underscored the ongoing struggle to protect the mysterious animal while navigating the unforeseen attention it had attracted. The solidarity between Dean and Carl was evident as they stood side by side, contemplating their next move. Their shared experience in dealing with the unexpected crisis reinforced the bond between them, a testament to the strength of their friendship. Together, they began to strategize, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with a united front, undeterred by the pressure mounting from outside. Dean, with a mix of excitement and nervousness, leads Carl through the farm towards the backyard. They navigate the familiar terrain, but today it feels different, charged with the anticipation of uncovering the mystery of the unusual animal. Dean checks the path for any prying eyes, ensuring their discovery remains a secret between them for just a little while longer. As they walk, Dean watches Carl closely, looking for any signs of his reaction. He wonders what Carl will think of the animal, its odd appearance, and how he might assess its condition. The tension between them builds with each step, a silent communication filled with years of friendship and trust, now facing an unprecedented situation. The path to the goat pen becomes a significant journey filled with apprehension and curiosity about what awaits. Dean tries to maintain a sense of normalcy, making light comments about the farm and its usual routines, but the underlying seriousness of their mission looms over their conversation, adding a layer of surreal anticipation to their steps. Attempting to ease the tension, Dean jokes about the daily chores and the quirks of farm life. He hopes to distract Carl from the weight of the situation, even if just for a moment. Their laughter, brief and forced, does little to mask the underlying nervousness as they draw closer to the goat pen. The sight of their imminent discovery, the final steps towards the goat pen, are fraught with suspense. Dean and Carl prepare themselves for the reveal, knowing that what lies ahead could change everything they thought they knew about their world. Dean opens the gate slowly, the creaking sound marking the threshold between the known and the unknown, inviting Carl into the mystery that has captivated and confounded Dean since its discovery. Carl meticulously examines the animal, using various tools to check its health. Dean watches closely, trying not to interfere, but unable to hide his concern. Carl's professionalism sets a serious tone as he methodically checks the animal's eyes, listens to its heartbeat, and gently examines its limbs, all under Dean's anxious gaze. Dean stands by, observing every move Carl makes with the animal. He tries to read Carl's expression for any signs of what he might be thinking. The silence between them is filled with tension as Dean waits for any word on the animal's condition, hoping for good news, but preparing for the worst. After a brief discussion, Carl and Dean decide that the animal needs to be taken to the clinic for further tests. They quickly prepare a makeshift stretcher, gently lifting the animal onto it. Their actions are swift, driven by a shared determination to get the animal the care it needs, highlighting the gravity of the situation and their commitment to its welfare. Dean and Carl move with purpose, carefully transporting the animal to Carl's van. They work together seamlessly, a testament to their long-standing friendship and shared concern for the animal. As they secure the animal in the van, their quick coordinated movements underscore the urgency of the situation, leaving Dean hopeful yet anxious about what lies ahead at the clinic. In the quiet of the barn, Dean and Carl quickly devise a plan to transport the animal without attracting media attention. They decide to use the back exit through dense foliage to minimize detection. Their whispered plans reflect their commitment to the animal's safety. Using a discreet vehicle parked behind the barn, Dean and Carl carefully load the animal covered by blankets for concealment. The unremarkable vehicle blends into the rural setting, allowing them to depart unnoticed. Dean keeps watch while Carl drives cautiously through back roads, avoiding well-traveled paths. Their synchronized actions showcase their determination and teamwork. Throughout the journey, they remain vigilant, prioritizing the animal's well-being. Dean and Carl's coordination, born from years of friendship, highlights their shared mission to protect the creature. Upon arriving at the clinic, they transfer the animal to a secure room, a stark contrast to the chaotic farm. Dean stays close to the animal, offering comfort in the unfamiliar environment while Carl prepares for the examination. Inside, Dean's calming presence reassures the animal. His concern is evident as he watches Carl perform the tests, each moment filled with tense anticipation. The clinic becomes a beacon of hope for the trio as Dean clings to the belief that answers will be found. The atmosphere remains heavy with suspense as Carl works methodically while Dean provides soothing words to the animal, bridging the gap between its former home and the clinical surroundings. The calm shatters when reporters arrive, seeking details about the mysterious animal. Carl confronts them firmly, asserting the clinic's privacy policies and emphasizing the importance of their work. His decisive actions reinforce the clinic as a sanctuary, allowing them to focus on the task at hand. After addressing the disturbance, Carl and Dean return to the examination with renewed resolve. Dean closely monitors Carl's reactions, each test a step toward uncovering the truth. Finally, Carl shares the results with Dean. The creature is a deformed pregnant goat. This revelation reshapes Dean's understanding of its needs and sparks a profound sense of responsibility. Realizing the care required, he immediately begins planning modifications to the farm with determination. Dean sets out to create a safe and comfortable environment for the goat and her future offspring, ensuring her unique condition is accommodated.